Chapter 34. Ellie. I wake up early. My eyes sting and my face is puffy. Charlie found me after Dee left and was so worried I had to tell her something. So I told her that Dee was the man I had the relationship with. She didn't ask much, she just held me and let me cry. When I told her I don't want to see Dee again, she said she would take care of it. Then she stayed with me until I fell asleep. I look at the time. It's not even 6. My head pounds and I'm still tired. I kept waking up, remembering it all over again. How he said he loved me while tearing my life apart. I try to get back to sleep but there's no use. He's burrowed into my mind and every time I close my eyes, I remember something different. My bed even smells like him. Not only did he judge Jenna without knowing her, he talked as if he was better than me, and I should be grateful he wanted something more. After he really tried not to love me, of course. Because loving me must be so demeaning, he never could have imagined. I can't stand his smell anymore. I throw off the blanket and hurry into the bathroom, grateful I don't have to share it with anyone. I cry in the shower. How do I move on from this? Do I tell Jenna? Do I reveal that it wasn't Julian's idea? Will that make it better or worse? I stand under the streaming water until it turns cold. Then I wrap myself in a towel and go to get dressed. There's a letter by my door. I stand in the door to the bathroom and stare at it. It's a white envelope with my name on it. It might as well be a deadly snake ready to pounce. Someone must have slid it under the door. I step as far away from it as I can, as I find something to wear. But I keep an eye on it. In case it decides to attack me out of nowhere. When I'm dressed, I sit on the bed and stare at it for a while. I know who it's from. But what I don't know is what he wants. What could he possibly find so important that he would write me an actual letter about it? I know I have to read it. I contemplate lighting it on fire and letting that be the end of it all. But I don't want it to end. As much as it hurts. I don't want to have it all disappear. My hands shake as I pick it up. It won't change anything. No matter what he's written, it won't change what he did or how I feel. It can't. But I still want to know. So I pull out the handwritten pages. His handwriting is neat and careful. I see places where he scribbled over a word or a letter, and then continued. With a deep breath, I read. Ellie. I fucked up. I don't know what to tell you. But please let me explain. I'll respect your wishes and stay out of your way. As you're reading this, I will have already left. I hope one day you can forgive me, but at the very least, I need you to know that I never wanted to hurt you. At Jenna's birthday party, I thought it was strange that Lydia mentioned her wanting to marry Rich. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and assumed it was a poor attempt at a joke. At the hockey game, I ended up in line after Lydia. She didn't notice me. Again, she talked to her friend about Jenna marrying Rich. They made jokes about how they should do the same. But to be fair, I don't think Lydia said any such thing. After having heard this twice, I started keeping an eye on Jenna and her interactions with Julian. And what I saw convinced me she didn't have any genuine feelings for him. But you told me last night that she did. And perhaps I misread the situation. If I did, I am truly sorry for causing her and you pain. I could tell that Julian was falling hard. Julian has always been naive, and since we were young, I have felt it my duty to look out for him. I saw how invested he became, and I worried he would get hurt. I admit, I do not know Jenna, and if you tell me she was in love with him, then I believe you. You also said something about me doing my research. And I'm embarrassed to say you were right. I hadn't looked her up. Perhaps I should have. But I hesitate to invade people's privacy. I have looked her up now. And I understand. Not only did I find articles about her and her father's wealth, but I found the articles concerning her father's first wife. What that woman put them through was horrible, and the exact thing I wanted to save Julian from. It now makes sense why she would want to marry someone with money of their own. She was worried a gold digger would scam her, like her father was betrayed by his first wife. It's something my father has warned me about countless times. Had I known Jenna was an heiress to a multi-billion fortune, I would not have been so hasty in judging their relationship. There is one more thing I need to tell you, and it concerns Victor. I don't know what he has told you. But from the things you said last night, I don't think it was the truth. I don't like talking about it. He was my friend growing up, and not even Julian knows all the details. It is not my story to tell, but it is a story you need to be aware of. We were childhood friends. Him, me, and Julian grew up together. But as we became teenagers, Victor chose to hang out with some other guys. He went out partying most weekends and started gambling. At first, it was small bets here and there. Dares mostly. The people he was hanging out with encouraged this behavior. He hid it from Julian, but I caught him a few times doing things like peeing in someone's gas tank and stealing underwear. Things I thought were fairly innocent pranks. He moved on to betting on football games and wrestling. More and more money changed hands, and he would use these dares as a way to fund his habit. I was not aware of this until afterwards. But it became an addiction. The evening in question, we were at a party. Victor had racked up a lot of bets, saying he would sleep with one of the girls from our class. This girl had previously shown a little interest in him, but had since moved on. She was no longer interested in him. I don't think he could afford to lose the bet, so he kept insisting. She finally agreed to take a ride with him in his car. The first problem was that it wasn't his car. He stole it from the parents of the classmate whose party it was. The second problem was that he had been drinking. I knew this, so when I saw them take off, I got in my car and followed. I found the car at the side of the road. It was in a wooded area, and he had swerved and hit a tree. Luckily, he hadn't been going too fast. But the thing that made me break off all contact with him was what I saw when I got there. I don't know if he dragged the girl out of the car or if she had gotten out herself. But she had clearly hit her head. She was bleeding and passing in and out of consciousness. From the alcohol he had plied her with or the injury, I couldn't tell. I don't like talking about this. It makes me sick to even think about it. But when I got there, he was soaring drunk and feeling her up. I'd like to think he wouldn't have done anything, but the truth is that I don't know. I pulled him away and called for an ambulance. The girl was fine. They pumped her stomach, and she was sent home a few days later. I never told her what Victor did. Perhaps that was wrong of me. But she had been through so much, I didn't want her to go through life with that always defining her. I did tell my father, though. And he may not always be the most staunch supporter of women's rights, but he saw red. We discussed it several times, trying to figure out if anything would come of me reporting it. But Victor's family has access to the best lawyers, and she got in the car with him voluntarily. They charged him with stealing the car and driving under the influence, but his lawyers got him off with a fine and some community service. This was the reason he didn't get the internship with my father. I already had my internship settled long before this. I know he twisted this into somehow meaning I stole his spot, but that's not what happened. I still wonder if we should have said something. But we decided that as long as it never happens again, there is no need to traumatize the girl. Knightley also knows the truth. I have told him to answer honestly any questions that you have. There are official police reports from that night, and articles online mentioning the crash. My father will also confirm the details if you talk to him. I understand I broke our agreement by bringing feelings into the mix, and for that I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. D. I let the letter fall to the floor and close my eyes. I don't understand. There is too much information in this letter for me to take it all in at once. I can't. If I do, it will hurt too much. I lean forward with my face in my hands. What am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to think? Have I been wrong about D? I pick up the letter, fold the pages, and put them back in the envelope. While I was reading, the rest of the house has woken up. I can hear them going downstairs for breakfast. I place the letter in my bag and follow them. There are a few comments on D's sudden departure, especially since he left Knightley behind. Ava glances at me, and I get the impression she knows more than she's letting on. But she says nothing. Knightley stays close to me, but without intruding. He keeps glancing over, as if he's expecting me to say something. I don't know how much D has told him, but it's clear he knows more than he did yesterday. I don't ask him anything. It hurts too much,